Oh, good morning. How's everybody? We sitting here this morning and get straightened up here a little bit. Oh, you know, uh, just like the Russia collusion, the Kavanaugh thing, the uh, the thing they pulled off. They managed to pull it off on Judge Roy Moore down there in Alabama when he's running for a Senate seat. They lied. They pulled off all this garbage, pulled off. The thing about it is they even had illegal voters come from across state lines in our voting. They had testimonies, people them talking about. There's a bunch of us, man, come over. It's the same thing going on right now with Donald Trump and this so-called whistleblower thing, trying to claim that, well, he done this. People, they got full transcript of his phone calls, but yet the Democratic Party is going on. It's unreal. But you know what's really sad? You know what's really sad? Your government is so corrupt. It is so corrupt they can't even stop the crimes. You're about this close to a socialist system. You know, the Democratic Party right now is acting like 1920s and 30s Chicago Al Capone deals. I mean, just freaking crime scene. Got thugs out there looking for places that they can just create hell. Huh. It's unreal, man. You know, it's pitiful. It's literally pitiful. And I'll be honest with you, Facebook, for those of you that you come back at me on my post and you comment against my post and you come in, oh, you don't look at one side, and you don't know. I look at the honest side, the decent side, the godly side, the moral side. People, there is no other way to judge this. If you judge it any other way, the liar, the thief, the cheat, the rapist, the murderer, they get by with it. You cannot look at any other way. It has to be judged righteously. You have to come back, listen, you got to come back to the point that you know where right and wrong is. That's what some of you, that's where you're screwing up. You want to take God out of the equation. You want to take true moral values out of the equation and then judge it. You want to judge between a child molester and a rapist. It's both wrong. You want to judge between a transgender and a gay. They're both odd. You want to judge between embezzlement and stealing. They're both wrong. The liberal thinking people wants to legitimize everything. Listen, Karl Marx said if we can pee into their minds, we can own them. If we can legitimize our shames committed against them, we can own them. That's basically what he's saying. If we can destroy the morals of one generation of Americans, we can take the nation. If we can pee into their minds, we can own them. That's what he was saying. That's what liberal thinking does. Barack Obama, Glenn Beck showed a copy of something that college records of Barack Obama. It showed him what his studies was, or one of his subjects in his studies, Marxism. Hillary Clinton said her role model, her former boss or teacher or something, Saul Alinsky, was it? She said he was her role model, a Marxist. If we can pee into the American mind enough, we can own them. And yet you got people puckering up, man. They'll come along and drop their drawers, and Obama or Clinton or Pelosi or Schiff or Schumer or one of them friggin' meatheads come and drop their drawers and just stick their butt out, and you got those liberal thinkers, man. They'll line up with a pucker, assuming the position. Now Facebook, they probably gonna censor me again because of this. Listen. They don't want you calling their crime, crime. They don't want you calling their shame, shame. They don't want you calling their lying, lying. They don't want you calling their trash, trash. That's where the problem lies, people. That's where it lies. God told me that's what it was. That's what he told me what it was. After he had shown me Isaiah 32, 5 through 8, after the 2012 elections, just a few days or within a week or two after 2012 elections, he pointed out Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. You need to read it. Don't take my word for it. Read it yourself. Know yourself what these friggin' liberals are. Know, people. Know yourself what they are. He showed me that, and I'm sitting on the side porch. This has been maybe, I'm not sure. I don't write these dates down and this stuff. I just, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 2.5 years ago. I'm sitting there enjoying my breakfast, man, not even thinking about this friggin' stuff. And all of a sudden, God speaks one word into my mind: legitimacy. And it sort of bumfuzzles me, you know. I'm not even thinking about it. Legitimacy. And then I got to chewing on it the rest of the day and the days afterwards. And he backs up and takes me back to Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. And it talks about how liberal thinking had been legitimized, how it had been accepted as the norm, as how the perversions, the atrocities against man had been accepted. Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. What was it she said? I don't know the exact word, but you know, I know it. I have the general idea, okay? She said, well, maybe a few American women need to be raped in order for... Come on, people. Why in the friggin' hell are you backing her? God. People, do you realize how friggin' ignorant that makes you? That you fall for this friggin' Pocahontas trash? God. Man, you're something wrong with you. I know some of you are going to turn, oh, I don't like to be talked to like that. Well, you better talk to, someone better talk to you. You better listen to somebody. If you don't, it's going to be your sons and your daughters, your grandbabies, your great-grandbabies going to pay the price for your ignorance. You better listen to somebody. These friggin' socialists talk about eradicating human beings. They're talking about letting people die off. That's what's in the minds of these friggin' people. Obamacare was placed in America for that purpose. It was signed into law for that purpose. To thin the population, people. They trusted Nancy Pelosi and signed it. Oh, sign it, then you can find out what's in it. As the ignorance in the Republican Party signed it. Let a friggin' liberal piss through her teeth on them, and they signed it. And after it's signed, Sarah Palin had already told them, don't sign it, don't pass it. There's death panels within it. They wouldn't listen to someone decent. They wouldn't listen to someone godly or moral. They signed it. No, it ain't over. I don't care what it looks like. Obamacare is still law. We don't know what's left on the books. We don't know what's left on the books. It's still law. We was told it was going to be repealed. Did they repeal it? No. We don't know what's left on the books. We got a man in the White House. Who was it? Michelle Macon. I believe it was her that made the statement. Donald Trump is like a bull in a China China store. The garbage that had the garbage, the rot, the stench, the disease, the bacteria, the trash, the sickness that had drifted into the swamp for 75 plus years. You finally got someone up there with enough cojones to face it. The whole friggin' mess. The whole friggin' mess is exploding. The whole friggin' mess is exploding. Your liberal media, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post, West Virginia's Charleston Gazette, and there's others. I seen a post, not a post, but an article in the Beckley Herald or whatever it is here in Raleigh County, West Virginia, and they're spitting out this liberal socialist rot. I didn't read it. I just a little part of it. I ain't fooling with that. I don't want that trash in my mind. I don't want some friggin' pervert don't even know the difference between right and wrong peeing in my ear. Now, Facebook will probably censor me again because they've been censoring my posts. They don't like straight talk. They don't like straight talk. We're finding out they've also Facebook and Twitter and Google. They've been censoring conservative posts. They don't want people telling you the truth. They don't want you to know what's going on behind closed doors. David, Old Testament. The wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul. They don't want you to know what's going on behind closed doors. But the rot goes on. The lies, the cheating goes on. See, they're talking about Joe Biden's son, Hunter, and see, even Nancy Pelosi's son is under the microscope now. There's investigations going on in this, man. This trash that went on for the last who knows how many years now. Well, we know since Obama's second term and Hunter Biden started visiting China and Ukraine. We know about that right now, but there's so much more that's going to show up. If William Barr can show enough honor, just keep focused. Keep focused. Bring justice to the front. Listen, people. That's what these liberals and socialists are fighting. They're fighting justice. They are resisting justice. You know, out of everything I would like to see take place on the streets of America, we need revival. We need for God to just pour out revival on us. That's the main key right there, is getting people focused on doing what is right and resisting that which is wrong. That's the main key. But the next best thing, the very second step, the very next thing that needs to happen in a free country is you need to have justice. Without justice, there's no freedom, there's no liberty. Without right and wrong, there's no justice. Without the God of honor and truth and righteousness telling you what right and wrong is, there's no right and wrong. So you reject God, you reject right and wrong, you reject justice, and then in turn you have rejected freedom and liberty. You settled for what perverts in power want to pass down. You settled for that. That's just the way it is, people. That's just the way it is. It don't matter what your opinion is. You're wrong. If you disagree with it on the face of the earth, you're wrong. You are wrong. God established the knowledge of right and wrong in the beginning. In the beginning, He gave Moses the 10 Commandments. He informed Moses of what or how creation functioned. He informed Moses through the 10 Commandments, and Moses passed them out. God let Moses know creation will function properly if you acknowledge these. If you do not acknowledge what I've told you, you will not acknowledge the boundaries of your brother, and you'll cheat, lie, steal, rape, murder your brother. That's what he was saying. But see, these liberals and socialists, they don't want you to know the difference between right and wrong. Marxism don't want you to know the difference between right and wrong. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and others, they don't want you to know the difference between right and wrong. They want you to accept the way they act, the way they talk, the way they lie, the way they cheat, the way they steal. Hillary Clinton left the White House. She took furniture out of the White House that didn't belong to her. She had to take it back. The friggin' woman's a thief. She was forced to take it back. But she's still walking the streets. She broke who knows how many laws back then on the illegal server, but she's still walking the streets. Done who knows whatever kind of hell in this nation, and she's still walking the streets. Don't tell me when God spoke that word legitimacy to me. Don't tell me He was lying to me. Don't try to tell me I'm wrong. I know I'm right, people. If God tells you something, you bet your butt on it. You don't ask your neighbor what he thinks. It doesn't matter what your neighbor thinks. When God tells you, it's settled. It's settled. They have chosen to pee in your ear, and you have chosen to let them. Sorry. Well, yeah, you know what I've been thinking about. And I watch this stuff on the news, and these lies at Todd and the CNN, MSNBC, ABC, and all these others. I listen to this friggin' rot and this stuff, and I see these people, and Donald Trump has saved this nation hundreds of billions of dollars. But yet we borrowed 1 point something trillion to operate. This wall going up, it's going to save us hundreds of billions every year. It'll save us billions upon billions of dollars every year. Unemployment at the lowest level in who knows how long. More blacks working, more Hispanics working, more Americans working than ever before. And things are looking better all the way around, except for the liberal socialist thinkers. All except for the poop suckers. That's basically what it amounts to, the poop suckers. It's looking better all around, all except for them. They can't. It's pitiful. It's no wonder American people got behind Donald Trump, people. That's no wonder the majority of American people behind Donald Trump. But then that's no wonder the liberals and the socialists back during the last elections, last 2 elections or 3, they lied and cheated and they stole. They done every damnable thing they could do to get their people in. It's no wonder Donald Trump's rallies are packed to the friggin' hilt, and these friggin' liberals and socialists out here begging for followers. American people sick of the liberals and the socialists. They're sick of the Democratic Party and their lies that are trash. They're sick of them. They're tired of that friggin' bunch of perverts. They don't have a choice, people. They've got to resist. They have to resist. Van Jones, back years ago, Glenn Beck, when he was on Fox News, showed a video. Van Jones. We will either win or be crushed. What are you up to, Van? What kind of trash you had going in the background, Van? What you been talking about behind closed doors, Van? And it's not just Van. It's the Democratic Party. It's the liberal socialists. It was John Brennan and Clapper and Comey and McCabe and Page and Stroke. It's those kind of people. It's Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, Nancy Pelosi. It's those kind of people. What you doing behind closed doors, people? What'd you do back when Donald Trump got into office, or when he was exonerated back in the spring, and a bunch of you people took off to Cuba? It's so-called lying in the sun or catching some rays. What was you doing? What were you doing? What were you doing? And you people listen to them. Tells me a lot about you. Well, it's pitiful. You know, I'm gonna bring this up again. Now, God spoke this to me probably in the neighborhood of 8 years ago, give or take a little bit. In that neighborhood, like I said, I don't write down dates, people. I'm not real big on dates, okay? I was driving an old coal truck, hauling coal around an old surface coal mine. One day, and I'm going around that hill, and the Lord spoke to me. He said, they're crashing your economy. A few weeks later, again in the old coal truck, he spoke to me again. You're being subdued. Okay, they're crashing your economy. You're being subdued. God spoke that to me. Okay? Now, I know I'm not the only one who knows this. There's a bunch of people out there know it. But here I'm watching Fox News back during the weekend, and had this little black girl on there, black lady, woman, Candace Owens. Awesome little woman. She wrote a book. I don't remember the name of the book. It's Crashing America or something. But she wrote this book, and she said she had done a study. She investigated and done a study. Organizations, agencies, and things in America that were actually working against the economy of this nation, okay? They were actually working against the economy of this nation. She said, and it's not just in America. She said it's other countries. There have been other countries on board this wanting to crash America. Why? Why? Wanting to crash America. Why would they want to do that? A country that has fought for the individual lives of people more than any other country in the world. Why would they want to crash of America? You think I'm blowing into the wind? All right. How about one of Barack Obama's classmates or chums from back in his college days said Barack Obama looked into Cloward and Piven. Look it up. Google it. Look it up. Find out what Cloward and Piven is. Barack Obama, according to his classmate said Barack Obama looked into Cloward and Piven. Why would Barack Obama look into something like that? Look it up. Find out what Cloward and Piven is. I'll give you a quick little hint, but you need to look it up anyway. Cloward and Piven said you could overburden the economy of America. You could stress the American dollar to the point of breaking. You could take advantage of America through it. Through their thinking, you could overburden and crash the economy of America. That's what it's talking about. See, God told me this, I don't know, but maybe 5, 6 years before I even actually, maybe about 4 or 5 years before I even actually heard of Cloward and Piven. God told me in the old coal truck, they're crashing your economy. You're being subdued. And then I hear of Cloward and Piven, I look it up, and it's the very thing it says that you can overburden the American economy and crash it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, okay? It's not my point. Back, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago, maybe 2, 3 years ago, I put a little thing out on Twisted World News. I might not have been able to do a video. I might have been still been typing. I just put this little camera up here. But I might have still been typing at the point. I done this little thing on Twisted World News. The framing of America. Or not the framing. The framing of Trump. Well, lo and behold, here 8 months, year and a half later, there's a Hannity or somebody else talking about it. The framing of Trump. There's been other things. There's been other things that I'll be honest with you, where I look at it from a godly point of view. I think God is just pointing these little deals out to me. Just like a preacher preaching a message, he's around, he starts spitting out things that he didn't know, but God had told him right in the line as he talked. God told him about it. God filled him in on it. And they just put it in their message and go, God's done that with me here. He's let me look deeper and deeper into Isaiah 32, verses 5 through 8. You people, I've been talking about that since 2013, 14. Every damnable thing you can imagine is taking place in the minds and the hearts and the actions of these Democrats and socialists. Liberals, Democrats, socialists, Democrats. Everything you can imagine is taking place. And it's heartrending to think that Fox News took on Donna Brazile after she tried to cheat Donald Trump in a campaign on a debate stage with Hillary Clinton, and she turned over the questions to Hillary. This is what you're going to be asked. Be ready with this. And then Fox News take her on. And then Paul Ryan, he's fought against Donald Trump for 2 years up there when he was Speaker of the House, and then Fox News takes him on. He's up there right now. He's up there in Fox News trying to get those people to turn their back against Trump. Fox News, the one we've depended on for the last 10, 12, 13 years to feed us the truth, when NBC, ABC, and CBS, and New York Times, and MSNBC, and Washington Post, and Charleston Gazette, and others have spit out their friggin' rot like a New York City sewage system, spewing its disease into the waterways. That Democratic Party right now, they got more poop piled up in them and backed up in their pipes than the New York City sewage system. It's pitiful, man. It's pitiful. Well, I guess I've ranted enough. For some of you, those of you that think it's truth and honor and decency and respect and godly moral values and stuff is rant. I guess I've ranted enough. I guess the daughter and her grandbaby down today. Come down and spend the weekend with us. That'd be great. It's always good to see them. That little grandbaby. That's Paul's baby. And I'll tell you, I'd ask her. She'll come over sometimes, and she won't. Paul kind of teases or aggravates her a little bit, but she'll come over to Paul and she'll come to Paul and she'll sit down beside me. She'll lean over against Paul and Paul put his arms around and kiss that noggin and tell you, whose baby are you? Paul's baby. I love this nation. I love people. Sometimes they make it tough. I don't hate people, but I have to love justice in order for the rights of the innocent, the honest, the upright, and the helpless to be observed, in order for them to walk in the freedom and liberty that is theirs, deservingly theirs. The innocent, the honest, the upright, and the helpless. Freedom and liberty is deservingly theirs. It doesn't belong to the liar. It doesn't belong to the cheat, the thief, the murderer, the rapist, the embezzler, the thief, the stealer. It doesn't. Freedom and liberty is not theirs. Where in the world do you get off with that? It doesn't belong to them. They deserve to be incarcerated. They deserve to be hung. They're cheating other people and you're giving them rights. People, stop licking the liberal butt. You're giving perversions the right to pee and poop all over you, your family, and your bloodline. Stop kissing their butts. Trump 2020. Trump 2020. You know, I wanted Ted Cruz in office. I wanted to see Ted get, because I knew he was a strong constitutionalist. He's a Christian. I knew he was strong in that. I wanted him in. But you know something? As I look at what's taking place right now, God knew better than I did. God knew America needed Donald John Trump in the White House. God knew it. In order for freedom and liberty to come to life and thrive, we needed Donald John Trump as president. And God knew that. I didn't know that. I didn't know it. But when I realized he had got the nomination, I said, anything we can get up there right now to get that friggin' socialist Muslim out of office and just shut that bunch of liberal perverts down, anything we get up there right now be better than what they are. Then I got on the Trump train and I began to realize as we get in, Donald Trump, he's actually kept his word, what he's tried to do. He's tried to repeal Obamacare as one of the few, very few things that he hasn't pulled off. Of course, he may go push through it. I hope he does. He needs to get rid of it. Obamacare was a deception. Anthony Gruber, the architect that wrote it up, said it was written up to missile the American people, just like Obama missiled the American people about being born in America, an American citizen, missiled, lied. Then after he gets in office, he's in there for just about 2, 3, 4 years. Oh, I lied. Missiled. Obamacare. Missiled. God knew that we needed Donald Trump in there more than I did. Have a good one. Hope you find grace and mercy in God's eyes. Because there and there alone does your family and your bloodline have hope, people. That there and there alone, in the knowledge of God, in the knowledge of right and wrong, in the knowledge of an actual working justice. Have a good one.